Carlos Takam has weighed in at 246 pounds ahead of his showdown tomorrow night against Dereck Chisora. As always, he looks in tremendous condition. This is heavier than he was against Anthony Joshua. Let me just check exactly what weight he was against AJ. 235 against AJ. So he's 11 pounds heavier than he was against AJ, but again, still looks in tremendous shape. And there's an individual I speak to online, a Frenchman. He knows who he is. And he's been following Carlos Takam's career for many, many years. Takam is based in France. And he claims that Takam usually fights better when he's heavier. So we'll see if that claim rings true in this particular fight. But regardless of whether he's 10 pounds heavier or not, still in tremendous physical condition. He is an absolute tank, Carlos Takam. Right? Moving on to Dereck Chisora. He weighed in at damn near 250 pounds. 249.7. So he's really 250 pounds. For Dereck Chisora, that's not an enormous weight. He's weighed a lot more than that before. Let's have a look at his recent weights here. So he's 250 against Takam. He weighed the same in his last fight, which was earlier on this year. Kabayel, he weighed a bit more. He weighed significantly more against Filipovic. He weighed 250 against Dillian Whyte. 241 against Pulev. So this is not massively heavy for Dereck Chisora, 250 pounds. But it's probably heavier than, well, it's definitely heavier than he's been for his best performances. If you look at his best performances, you would say Robert Helenius, Klitschko, they were two of his best performances, even though he's got L's next to his name on those fights. He performed well. He weighed in the low 240s for both those fights. Malik Scott, another one of his better performances, weighed in the low 240s. Edmund Gerber, he performed pretty well that night, weighed 235. Same against Parla. Kevin Johnson, another one in the high 230s. Let me see another one of his better performances. Dillian Whyte, 250. He performed well in spurts against Dillian Whyte, in spots, but he languished a lot on the ropes late in that fight and didn't really do much. And you have to imagine that weighing 250 was the reason that he couldn't keep up the work rate against Dillian Whyte. He had the strength, he had the physical presence to push Whyte back at points, but he didn't have the stamina to maintain it. And if he's weighing the same against Takam, you would imagine that stamina may not be on his side in this fight. I think Carlos Takam is going to win this fight, just to give you my prediction. I think Takam is going to win this fight on points. Neither guy is a massive puncher. Neither guy's a massive puncher, and both guys can take a pretty good shot. I would say Chisora's chin is better, but Takam's chin is not bad. So I'm anticipating a long fight. I'll be slightly surprised if it ends by knockout, if we see multiple knockdowns, and I'll be surprised by that. I see a distance fight, and yeah, I see Takam winning. There isn't much in it on weight, but I just think Takam is in better. I think Takam naturally has a lot more muscle on his body than Dereck Chisora does. I think if you strip off most of this fat from Chisora, he's going to be in the mid to low 230s, whereas Takam barely has an ounce of fat on him. And as I've said before, I do not believe Takam is a guy who does a hell of a lot of weight training to get up to this kind of size. I think he's just one of those people who is naturally very muscular. He might do a bit of weight training, but I don't think he puts most of this weight on, most of this muscle on with weight training. I think it's just natural. Some people are like that. All right, I know some geeks out there find that hard to believe, but I'm telling you it's true. I know plenty of people over the years who are naturally just big, muscular, and what have you, and when they train down, they got huge muscles without really doing much weight training. That's just how it is. So yeah, Takam in good shape. And in fact, let's look at some of Takam's weights here. Other than Anthony Joshua, he weighed 235 for Joshua. That was light for him. 242 against Bakurin. 247, 241 against Parker. So he is a bit heavier than he was against Parker, to be fair. 252 against Povetkin. He got stopped in that fight. 256 against Perez. 241 against Michael Grant. So you might want to say that Takam's best weight is in the low 240s, or his best performances have been when he's in the low 240s. Although I thought he performed pretty well against Perez and was unlucky not to get the win there against Perez. And that was when he was very heavy, 256. So we'll see. But anyway, my prediction is Takam wins this fight on points. Looks in great shape. Let me know how you feel about this fight, how you thought about them at the weigh-in, and you know what you felt about them at the weigh-in. And Dereck Chisora tried his best to get in Takam's face. There was a pretty intense stare down. But I've said before that Dereck Chisora seems to perform best when there's some type of needle, when there's some type of beef between him and his opponent. When there isn't beef between him and his opponent, he can be quite listless. He can be quite flat when there's no needle, when there's no beef. And I think sometimes Dereck Chisora tries to create beef in order to get his blood up. You know, in order to get his adrenaline going, he tries to create beef. I remember at the Kubrat Pulev weigh-in, where he tried to pull some antics against Pulev at that weigh-in. And I think he was doing that to try and get his adrenaline up for the fight. He's a guy who performs best when there's beef. He performs best when he's got some adrenaline pumping. And that was his weak attempt at trying to do it against Takam, getting in Takam's face, hoping something would kick off. He don't want to get fined by the British Board of Boxing Control, which is why he was on his best behavior, and Eddie Hearns probably had a word in his ear. So I think in an ideal world for Dereck Chisora, he would have done something crazy at the Takam weigh-in to get some kind of beef going and, you know, fire himself up for battle. But as it is, yeah, I'm taking Carlos Takam to win on points. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below, people, about the weights and the shape both guys are in, everything I talked about in the video, and give me your predictions, all right? Let's happen. I'm out.